Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about my do not draft running backs for fantasy football in 2021. Inside today's video, I'm going to be doing a deep dive into 3 running backs that I believe you guys should not be drafting right now at their current average draft position. But before we get on in to the deep dive, the breakdown of these do not draft running backs, I would like to ask that if you are new to the YouTube channel and you do end up enjoying today's video, to please make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below. Not only is it free, I put out this content every single day to help you guys win your 2021 fantasy football championship. And while you're down there, whether you are new to the channel or not, please make sure that you hit that like button down below to help boost this video up the algorithm so that more beautiful people like yourself can see today's video. I would also like to let you guys know that my rankings are available for free on Awesemo.com, as well as the articles that I write every single day. So please make sure that you check out the rankings and the article. The link to those will be down below in the description, as well as in the pinned comment. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Now, the term do not draft to me might mean something different than you, so I'm going to go ahead and outline the definition of it. Do not draft does not mean that if they were to fall a couple of rounds past ADP, that I would not be willing to draft them. What do not draft means is based upon where they are going right now at their average draft position, I do not believe that you should be selecting them. But if they were to fall down drafts, if maybe your league mates aren't as fond of them as well, and maybe they fall a round or two, then you want to go ahead and hop on that discount. But the reason why they are do not drafts is because I believe they are not going to perform up to the average draft position that is set on each of these players right now. So let's get on into it. My first do not draft running back for fantasy football in 2021 may be a little bit spicy. I see a lot of people really kind of singing the praises of this running back, and that is running back of the Detroit Lions, DAndre Swift, current underdog ADP running back number 17 off of the board, overall pick 38.40. So right now he's going anywhere from the end of the 3rd round to the beginning of the 4th round. And if I'm being honest with you guys, I am being very, very cautious with DAndre Swift right now. Now, DAndre Swift is a player who I believe is going to succeed very heavily inside of the National Football League, coming out of Georgia, being a rookie last season. DAndre Swift showed me enough to know that he is a talented running back, but this is not the team that he was on last year. This team in Detroit is going to be very, very bad. They are going to be a franchise that is laughed at every single Sunday because this offense is not going to be the greatest. This is going to be an offense that late in games is going to have to be throwing the ball at a very high pace. And the reason for that is because the Detroit Lions do not have a very good defense, and their quarterback in Matthew Stafford is now gone in LA. Jared Goff is now the quarterback. So the situation here in Detroit just isn't looking the best for DAndre Swift. Now, last year in 13 games, he finishes the running back 18 in PPR, 18.5 PPR, and the running back number 20 in standard, averaging 14.6 PPR points per game, 12.8 half PPR points per game, and 11.1 standard points per game. From a points per game perspective, he was the running back 18 in PPR, 20.5 PPR, and the running back number 22 in standard, tied with a bunch of other running backs. So again, kind of like I said at the beginning, DAndre Swift is a very talented running back who I expect to put up numbers at the NFL level. But this season, with Jared Goff, with the concerns of injury for DAndre Swift, with the concerns of a potential 1-2 punch backfield with DAndre Swift and with Jamal Williams, I'm very worried right now about DAndre Swift. So this report came out yesterday. The Detroit Free Press confirms that there's at least some concern over DAndre Swift's core week 1 status. Swift is practicing on a limited basis after missing multiple weeks of training camp and sitting out this preseason, but the Lions have cast doubt on his week number 1 availability. The second-year back is looking on the wrong side of questionable, and even if clear, Swift seems likely to be on a snap count. Swift's injury opens up carries for preseason star Jamar Jefferson in the Lions' 2-back offense. The reason why they are calling it a 2-back offense is because Lions coach Dan Campbell last month referred to this backfield of DAndre Swift and Jamaal Williams as a 1-2 punch. It's a 1-2 punch, Campbell said. We're going to use both of these guys. They know that. A guy gets a hot hand, he's rolling. If Jamaal is in there, we're rolling. Jamaal is going to be rolling, and we'll use Swift for other things, which is fine. So if Jamaal Williams becomes the hot hand early on in the season, if DAndre Swift misses week 1 or is on a reduced snap share, a snap count early on in the season, then we could see Jamaal Williams elevate himself ahead of DAndre Swift. Now, this is obviously something to worry about for the first couple of weeks of the season, but after that, if DAndre Swift gets fully healthy, I don't believe Jamaal Williams to be too much of a hindrance to DAndre Swift, but he will still be getting a decent amount of usage. It's not like Jamaal Williams is a terrible pass catching back either. So with the concerns of injury that are happening right fucking now, with the reports of it potentially being a reduced snap count in week number 1, or maybe he ends up missing week number 1. With that report mixed with the fact that Dan Campbell wants to use a 1-2 punch in Detroit, should worry you, and definitely very much worries me about DAndre Swift. And the only way that DAndre Swift is really going to have a lot of value this season is not going to be from his carries. Now, last year, DAndre Swift was stuck in a running back by committee, a full-on running back by orgy, because they had 3 running backs that were perfectly fine at carrying the ball: Kerryon Johnson, Adrian Peterson, and DAndre Swift. Eventually, deeper down in the season, DAndre Swift broke out and was the clear best running back on that team, but Kerryon Johnson honestly hasn't been the greatest in his career. Adrian Peterson, this isn't the old AP. Actually, this is the technical old AP because he's old as fuck, but this isn't the AP from back in the day, breaking all of those rushing numbers, putting up those huge numbers game in and game out. So eventually, DAndre Swift was able to eclipse them. But I think DAndre Swift's better than Jamaal Williams, but don't be surprised if Jamaal Williams starts to run away with the job early on in the season, and that is really going to plummet DAndre Swift's value from a season-long standpoint. He had 114 carries last season, which is 8.77 per game, ranking 40th at running back. This was in 13 games. He had 521 rushing yards on the season, 40.08 per game, ranking 36th at running back. He also had 57 targets, 4.4 per game, ranking 13th at running back, 46 receptions, 3.54 per game, ranking 13th at running back, 357 receiving yards, 27.46 per game, ranking 11th for 10 total tugs on the season, 10th at running back, 25 red zone touches, 1.92 per game, 38th at running back. So again, DAndre Swift, like I said, right off the rip of the video, is a very talented running back. But this situation is about as bad as it gets for a running back. You have a downgraded quarterback position. Your wide receiver weapons there got thrown out the fucking window. Marvin Jones is gone. Kenny Golladay is gone. TJ Hawkinson and DAndre Swift are the best 2 wide receivers on this team, in my opinion, and neither of them play the wide receiver position. Again, DAndre Swift will be seeing dump-off opportunities in these games, but if he's not being force-fed the dump-offs, and if Jamaal Williams just takes a couple in these games, I think DAndre Swift is really going to be almost a bust where he is going right now. Now, his ADP is starting to plummet a bit on Underdog, but when you're drafting on Yahoo, ESPN, NFL, people are still expecting this guy to be a full-on workhorse back on a team that isn't very good. Sure, you can be, now, again, you can be a good running back on a bad team. For fantasy football, the Carolina Panthers haven't been the greatest recently, and Christian McCaffrey, when he's healthy, just beats the shit out of these defenses. Last year, you have a guy like James Robinson, terrible team, great running back for fantasy football. So it certainly is possible, but with what is happening around DAndre Swift and with the injury concerns, I am very easily going to sway away from drafting DAndre Swift for fantasy football in 2021. But before we get on in to the breakdown of the next running back, I would like to ask if you guys have ended up enjoying this video thus far, to please make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below. Again, not only is it free, I put out this content every single day to help you guys win your 2021 fantasy football championship. And while you're down there, make sure you hit that like button as well. I would appreciate it a ton. So back into it. Next up, we have running back of the Denver Broncos, rookie running back Javonte Williams. Underdog ADP, running back number 24 off of the board right now. Overall pick number 63.10. Currently going inside of the 6th round. His ADP has fluctuated a decent amount. It started going down, and now it is going back on the up and up. And I understand why. It's because the team benched Javonte Williams in the final preseason game this week because Melvin Gordon hasn't played at all, but a lot of people are kind of doing the spin zone about how, oh, this means Javonte Williams is the clear number 1 back in Denver. You want to know why they benched Javonte Williams? Because they wanted to see Melvin Gordon actually play, because Melvin Gordon hasn't been there at all because he has been banged up, and Melvin Gordon looked perfectly fine in preseason. Now, this is another take where it's not really about the player. I talked about DAndre Swift, how I believe him to be an excellent running back. I think Javonte Williams is going to be a productive NFL running back next season. But right now, I believe that Javonte Williams is in a very, very bad double-headed backfield scenario here with Melvin Gordon. Last year, Melvin Gordon played a majority of games without Phillip Lindsay, and Melvin Gordon dominated. But if you look back for the team with Vic Fangio to 2019, when both Melvin Gordon and Phillip Lindsay were healthy, we see a very, very close snap share between the two running backs. Melvin Gordon with 35.6% of the snaps, 32.1% of the snaps were for Phillip Lindsay. This is why I am very nervous about drafting Javonte Williams. I would say the same thing about Melvin Gordon, about how he's a do-not-draft running back, but he is going so far back in the draft that it's almost worth taking the upside shot on him. Now, I haven't done that in any of my redraft drafts thus far, but I definitely wouldn't consider him to be a do-not-draft running back. This is also the final year, the last year of Melvin Gordon's contract. So there's a pretty good chance, at least in my opinion, that maybe this isn't a 50-50 split share. Maybe this isn't a 60-40 split share in Melvin Gordon's favor. Maybe this is like 70-30, where this team is looking to run Melvin Gordon into the fucking dirt, because next year, guess what? Bye-bye, Melvin Gordon. It's Javonte Williams' season. But right now, with Melvin Gordon coming back off the injury, with Vic Fangio's tendencies to have an offense with a 1-2 punch, you even saw it in preseason. Instead of it being Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon, it was Royce Freeman, the Rolls Royce himself, and Javonte Williams. And Javonte Williams looks so good. You want to know why? Because he's way better than Royce Freeman. But is Javonte Williams, in his rookie year right now, levels above Melvin Gordon? In my opinion, no. Now again, this is not a knock on Javonte Williams. If you look at his college stats, this guy is very good. In 2020, in 11 games, he had 157 rushes for 1,140 rushing yards. He had 25 receptions, 305 receiving yards, and 22 total tugs on the season. Doing that in a split share with Michael Carter. But this isn't the NCAA. This isn't Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. This isn't a Denver Broncos team that is going to rush the ball with aggression like the Cleveland Browns. That's not what we're going to be seeing here. We're going to see Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon being in a split share that's basically going to throw both of their values out the window. Now, there is a scenario where Melvin Gordon gets hurt. Again, knock on wood, we don't root for injuries. I'm not telling you that's what's going to happen. I'm not going to predict that Melvin Gordon is going to get hurt. If that was to happen, then Javonte Williams was a steal inside of the 6th round. But if that doesn't happen, if Melvin Gordon maintains his job like I believe, or if Melvin Gordon maintains the number 1 spot for long enough to where we're 3/4 of the way to the end of the season, then maybe Javonte Williams starts seeing a 55-45 split share for him versus Melvin Gordon. Then it just was not worth the pick at all, because week in and week out, you're not really trying to start Javonte Williams. You're not knowing if you want to start Melvin Gordon, because maybe it ends up being one of those scenarios where whichever running back scores the touchdown is the better running back in fantasy football that week. And that's going to be something that's very hard to predict week in and week out. So right now, I am all in on fading Javonte Williams, and I believe that that is the correct move to be making with a situation that just isn't the best in Denver. If I'm being honest with you guys, this was probably the hottest take of this video because it seems as though a lot of people are very much banging the drum for Javonte Williams and his value going inside the 6th round for fantasy football in 2021. Final running back to be discussed in this video. Running back of the Arizona Cardinals. Underdog ADP running back number 28. Overall pick 77.2. Chase Edmonds of the Arizona Cardinals. Now, Chase Edmonds, it's not a case with like Javonte Williams with DAndre Swift where it's like, I like the running back, I just don't like the situation. What has Chase Edmonds shown us in his career to make us believe that Chase Edmonds is going to be this workhorse running back in Arizona? What is going to show us that Chase Edmonds is better than James Conner? Now, James Conner is a running back that is basically made of glass at this point. He gets hurt basically every single year. Again, if he is able to stay healthy, James Conner is an amazing value, and Chase Edmonds is one of the worst picks you can make in your fantasy football draft. In my opinion, there is basically no way that this isn't a 50-50 split share, and to be honest with you, with how they reported that James Conner and Chase Edmonds will split the primary reps to start, and then whoever gets the hot hand is going to be getting the ball, what shows me that Chase Edmonds is going to get that hot hand? If this does become a workhorse running back scenario, my bet would be that it's not Chase Edmonds, that James Conner is able to eke out Chase Edmonds and become the #1 running back on this roster. Last season, Kenyon Drake was basically sucking complete and utter ass last season. He wasn't doing anything. And you know what Cliff Kingsbury did? He didn't take him out and throw Chase Edmonds in there. You want to know why? Because in my opinion, Cliff Kingsbury doesn't believe in Chase Edmonds. If he believed in Chase Edmonds, he would have taken Kenyon Drake out and thrown Chase Edmonds in when Kenyon Drake wasn't playing well. And you know what he would have done? He wouldn't have called up James Conner, who has put up good seasons in his NFL career when the guy is healthy, to be the backup to Chase Edmonds. Chase Edmonds was the running back 25 in PPR last year, 28.5 PPR, and the RB number 30 in standard in 16 games with 2 starts, averaging 10.5 PPR points per game, 8.8 half PPR points per game, and 7.2 standard points per game. Meaning on a points per game perspective, he was the running back 36 in PPR, 37.5 PPR, and the running back number 43 in standard. His numbers last year aren't the best. Just 97 carries, 6.06 per game, 448 rushing yards, 28 per game, 67 targets though, 4.2 per game, ranking 7th at running back, 53 receptions, 3.31 per game, ranking 7th for 5 total touchdowns, but just 25 red zone touches, 1.56 per game, 38 that running back. In the red zone, they love to run the ball. But are they going to love to run the ball with Chase Edmonds? I don't think so. They're going to love to run the ball with James Conner and with Kyler Murray. This is a team that is going to be good, but I do not believe Chase Edmonds has what it takes to be the lead running back on this team. What Cliff Kingsbury has shown us is that there's a reason why they brought in James Conner. There's a reason why Kenyon Drake was on the field so much last season. And there's also going to be a reason why this year we see James Conner suck away some of those targets, where we say James Conner get more targets than you probably would project, which is going to completely derail Chase Edmonds' value. If I'm being honest with you guys, I say that a lot in these videos. You could probably do a counter in the last 4 videos. I've said it like fucking 500 times. But if I'm being honest, I said it again. I don't know who is on Chase Edmonds. I don't know who is clamoring for Chase Edmonds. I have rarely seen it. But even in the 7th round, sometimes he honestly goes a little bit higher than that on Yahoo NFL. But when you're in, and same thing with ESPN, CBS, all those leagues. But even if I'm in that round, I'm looking for more. I'd rather just wait 2 rounds and draft James Conner, because I really do believe that James Conner, if he's not at the start of the season, he will eventually become the lead back in Arizona as long as he does not end up getting hurt, and the value there is way better than the value you're getting for Chase Edmonds in like the 6th, 7th round of these drafts. So let me know down below what you guys think of these running backs. Do you agree with me? DAndre Swift, Javonte Williams, Chase Edmonds, straight up fades in your draft? Or are you, on the opposite side of the thing and you're thinking, you know what? I love these running backs. Let me know down below in the comment section. I love having some nice conversations with you guys. Again, let's hope that Mr. J.K. Dobbins has a great recovery. Not going to play this season, but hopefully he can have a nice recovery into next season. That was a very, very sad story from a couple of days ago. I hope all of you guys have been staying safe. I love you guys. Make sure that if you did end up enjoying this video, hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below as well. I'm up late night so you guys can get this video early on in the morning. It's about 3 a.m. on the 30th as I'm recording this, so I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I'm going to go to sleep very soon. I hope you did enjoy. I love you guys so much. Make sure that you stay safe. Thank you guys for all the subscribers recently. I love you all. Without you guys, the whole fucking ship sinks. I love you guys. Have a great rest of your guys' day. As always, goodbye.